I was 35 when I realized I was a self. By Jillian Johnny, the Fragile Warrior. I was 35 years old when I realized I was a self. Not just a body moving through the world. Not just a name on paper. A living, breathing self. A force moving through life with choices, impact, and consequences. Love thy neighbor as thyself suddenly meant something entirely different. Because for the first time, I saw it. I was that self in need of love. I was that self in need of healing. I was that self with a story that mattered. I was that self, the most important self, carrying instructions on how to treat the other selves walking this earth. I had to tap in and enroll in the School of You, the You Seminar. Think of it like that place in the movie Soul, where new souls gather before they ever touch earth, except this was for the already living me. No floating in the clouds, no glowing name tag, just me, face to face with my own life, realizing it was time to get honest about who I was and what I was building. Here, the lessons aren't about who you might become, but about facing who you already are. The assignments aren't on paper. They're written in your patterns, your habits, your reflection in the people you impact every day. In that school, I learned something uncomfortable. I was the same self I avoided in society. Not every day, but enough days. I was the rude self when frustration boiled over. I was the lost self pretending to have a plan just to keep moving. I was the child I criticized, stubborn, slow to listen, quick to justify. I was the unreliable worker, making excuses for being late or calling out after the shift had already started. I was the dreamer who dropped the vision when fear got loud. I was the professional who stayed quiet when I should have stood up. I was the friend who spoke more than I listened. I was the family member who didn't show up enough. I was the consumer. I was the producer. I was the traffic jam and the driver pounding the steering wheel inside it. I was the storm that blew in without warning. I was the neglect, the noise, the absence. But I am nature in its calm and in its force. I am the road and the one who walks it. I am earth under your feet. I am energy in motion. I am matter that shapes worlds. I am light that breaks through. I am. At 35, I realized, I am everything I complain about in other selves on this planet called Earth. And that realization didn't make me weak. It made me unshakable. That was the year I became humble, not the surface-level humility that just nods and smiles, but the kind that strips away excuses and makes you accountable for how you show up. It was the year I learned to hold unconditional love for all selves, because I saw myself in all of them. I realized I had been treating myself the same way I had treated others, neglectful when I should have been attentive, avoidant when I should have been truthful, unwilling to sit with my own thoughts when they got heavy. I stopped answering the phone for myself. When my higher self was calling, I ignored